As part of Odeon Belfast's Screen Unseen programme, Aidan and I were granted an advanced preview of the upcoming film The Big Short. Aidan, tell us a little bit about Screen Unseen.
Screen Unseen's really cool, actually. Basically, you don't know what the movie's going to be. You just know what time it's on at, and it's $5 in, and they give you clues as to what the film is. And I got them completely wrong, and I was sitting there convinced it was going to be Spotlight and The Big Short started. So actually, I'm still pissed it wasn't Goosebumps. Goosebumps would have been kind of cool, but yeah. So it's kind of this cool idea of, you get to see a movie before kind of everyone else will, and maybe it'll be something you really want to see. Maybe it'll be something you're not.
It's an unbelievable thing that I didn't know about until literally last week. Yeah. And it's fun. It's fun. You're standing outside and you get a bit of a conversation going. You try to figure
there's kind of a nice vibe. You can literally see as the thing starts. Everyone's
there's that
really
moment of suspense where the
invested.
BBFC rating comes up, and it's like, oh, okay, here we go.
Actually,
so it's really good fun.
A nice fun filmy thing is Leo actually guessed what movie it was from the aspect ratio.
When the screen expanded out,
which basically
to 235, I knew it was going to be a movie that was shot in 235, which wasn't Spotlight because it's 185.
Yeah, so you are basically the human version of Rain Man.
Yeah, I'm never gonna I'm gonna die alone. It's basically the
I always kind of knew that. But yeah, speaking of short, we've got The Big Short this week.
See, I was gonna go for that segue as well.
I just snuck in there.
Go ahead.
Yeah. And speaking of nailing it, I think Adam McKay did a really good job with this film. I don't think it's an easy sell at all. Actually, doing a film about the financial collapse, I think as a drama, those kind of things. Margin Call looked at the same thing by J.C. Chandor a couple of years ago, Kevin Spacey. It's a brilliant film, but not many people saw it because, let's be honest, like a drama about the financial crash, most people don't want to watch, they don't want to see.
I mean, the movie is essentially the story of a group of characters who predicted the financial collapse before it actually happened, and it follows them, I think, over the course of maybe three years leading up to the crisis, and all of the different sort of schemes that they concoct in order to essentially gain when everyone else loses. But it's a lot more than that. It's got a lot more layers to it, and that's one of the reasons I really liked it as well. I agree with you. I think Adam McKay did do a terrific job. It's not without its flaws.
Yeah, okay, to be honest, like at the start of the film, it was doing my head in.
Yeah,
because,
me too.
Like, I think like McKay's terrified of losing your interest, so he tries to shoot and cut what should be a kind of comedy drama, like The Bourne Identity. And I don't think it's the right material for that kind of treatment at all. And there's some bits you're like, just stay on we'll follow you. You've got really good actors. You're telling an interesting story. You don't need to cut every 3 seconds.
Yeah.
And it settles down as the film goes on and you get more invested in it. But I thought a couple of really great dramatic moments just got tossed out the window by the way it was shot and cut.
Well, I mean, the thing that I kind of agree with you that as the film progresses and as it kind of goes on, you do become involved, and I think that's mainly testament to
it wins you over.
I mean, I think Christian Bale is phenomenal.
Yeah.
I think I think the real standout though is Steve Carell, who just gives an unbelievable performance, and I think has genuinely been really shut out of the awards season consideration. Christian Bale's been nominated for Best Supporting Actor. The movie's got a Best Picture. Yeah, the movie's got a Best Picture nomination. Yeah. Adam McKay got a Best Director nomination, but Steve Carell there doesn't seem to be any love for. And last year, coming off the success of Foxcatcher, I mean, he got a nomination for that.
Foxcatcher was drivel.
Well, I mean, a very controversial opinion here. I think his work in this film is actually is much better than Foxcatcher. My interest in The Big Short, and this is controversial, was really less than zero going in. I mean, the trailers didn't really grab me. It was the same situation with The Revenant. A lot of people really were hyped to see that movie.
Yeah.
I wasn't, and incidentally, haven't seen it. I do think it's the best film I've seen this year. I think it's an absolute masterpiece. But staying on The Big Short, it really did win me over as it went along. The thing about the movie is there are so many aspects of this movie that are not accessible to an audience. Yeah. But the movie doesn't care that it's not accessible. It does a lot of really fun things that I don't want to spoil to try and kind of, I think it's poking fun at the fact that it's not accessible, but it's also it's trying to make it a little bit easier to follow.
It does do that Wolf of Wall Street thing of kind of, if you give it a charismatic enough actor, and they try and do it a lot with Ryan Gosling, they either try and come up with kind of fun similes for some of the financial things they're talking about, or they just go full on bizarre comedy on it. And it does work up to a certain extent. What I think is important about the movie is, like, that was something I was kind of really interested in. I read books on, and you still, until you see it like rendered dramatically like that, you don't understand how either callous or how kind of like terrifyingly greedy the people that like run Wall Street are.
Well, this is the thing. I mean, you followed it beginning to end. I mean, you were explaining bits and pieces of it to me and to Margaret, who saw it with us, like the whole way through. There was a lot of the movie I followed predominantly most of it, but there was a lot of it I kind of struggled with. But I genuinely don't think it cares if you're with it every step of the way. I think at the end of the movie, there's actually just this really primal thing that if you've been paying enough attention, you will feel, which is, like you said, just this unbelievable anger that these people, you know, I don't want to spoil basically the ultimate outcome of the movie, but
well to be honest, I think
angry.
the thing you need to come away from, I think it's actually, and I always hate to use this like word to kind of describe a movie, I think it's an important movie. I think it's a movie everyone should see, because I mean, these people are monsters and it's happening all over again, and you come out of it feeling the most powerful force on earth isn't gravity, it's greed. It's like, this has happened before and it will happen again. And you know, like, it kind of rounds up all these kooky characters and plays it a bit like Ocean's 11 at times to try and draw you in. But it's like, for all the jokes and everything else, the ending is it's one of the most horrifying endings of a film I've seen in years.
Well, that's another thing that I think Adam McKay did really well. Two things in particular were, I mean, one of the reasons that the trailers didn't grab me, and one of the reasons that even just hearing about the plot of the movie I wasn't particularly invested, was the idea of a movie about people getting rich off, you know, the financial collapse. You don't imagine these are going to be particularly sympathetic
But there's
characters.
An incredible scene.
But the way he orchestrates the characters and the way that they're written and the way that they're performed, you end up rooting for them. You end up finding yourself kind of, you know, kind of going for these guys.
But there's an incredible scene where when you're in Vegas and it's playing up the whole Ocean's 11 kind of aspect of it. And then what happens is he just turns around and you're sort of investing. You want them to win. You want them to pull off this con they're doing. And then you realise the people that are really getting screwed over. And it just feels like you've been punched in the stomach. I remember just like settling back in my seat and you just feel complicit. And I think that's one of the messages. So many people were complicit. It wasn't just the people on Wall Street.
But the thing is, even when it gets to that stage of the movie, I don't think it ever loses its comedic kind of edge. It still stays. I mean, it gets a little bit more serious, but it never becomes preachy, and it never does a complete 360 with its tone. The other thing as well that I just think it did masterfully was the movie's very dense and very complex and very kind of, you know, there are 1,000,00001 things going on, and it's
but how great is it to be in a movie where like you need to work to stay with it? Well, like Inception's the last film I think I had to work that hard to kind of stay with a film, and I don't know if I'd want to do it every time I go into the cinema, but it was a great feeling.
Well, the thing I was going to say as well, though, was you have to work to stay with it the whole time, and it's very complex, and there's a lot of stuff going on. But by the end of the movie, it kind of doesn't, in a weird way, it doesn't, all the numbers and all the figures and all the statistics and all that stuff that you've been hearing about for the 2 hours that the movie's been going on, don't matter, because at the end of the movie, it just boils down to rich people getting richer while poor people get poorer, and they're just robbing, you know, they're robbing a nation and they're robbing a world, and that is what the movie arrives at. And I just think that's why it's a really, really well made movie. I liked it a lot more than I was expecting to.
Yeah, it's the same here actually, because the kind of mix of comedy and drama in the trailer didn't really grab me, and I came out of it just blown away. I thought it was funny, I thought it was tense, and I thought it was just like, you know, it won't be a film for everyone, but I think it's a film that everyone should see.
It's no Anchorman 2, but it's pretty great. So Aidan, you have a little one-liner to describe your verdict on The Big Short. What's yours?
So, Big Short is top dollar.
My one-liner to describe The Big Short, it's a great investment.
Oh, I see.
Because it's about stocks, Wall Street, and investing.
And things crash into the floor.
And things crash into the floor like Jenga.
Or that
See that? Triple Bs, double Bs, triple A's.
They're not going to
watch the film, it'll make sense. It won't make sense, but just go see it because it's good.